You put some music on, it's so silent.
Oh.
So cool.
Can I start singing?
Drive your hips back. Big breath. Drive them back.
There you go. Push heels. There you go.
Kai's right glute just swallowed his posing trunks. It's like his left side's like completely there, the right side is non-existent. You're just better at conventional. You want a reason to validate your bias towards conventional. Boom, science. Get here. Big breath. I'm going to engage my lat to pull myself down. Okay. For sumo, I'll actually get my shins right against the bar to start. Everybody's different. Lauren's a little bit different than me. She'll go a little bit like almost toes to plates. There's advantages to that. It's a shorter movement, but you're also less power. I like to have it where my shins, when I go to grab the bar, my shins are perpendicular to the floor. So that's where I can generate the most force. Straight down. Any questions?
Does grip matter? Whether you both overhand or you know?
I mean, so yes, it does matter. You're not going to be strong. Most people do not have nearly strong enough grip to use a traditional double overhand. The bar will fly out of your hand when you get heavy enough. Over under is stronger. The bar will prevent the bar from rolling, and you can grab it really quick, like we were just showing. The downside of that is it makes you slightly off tilt, right? Mm-hmm. Especially on sumo. Like, what will happen is
Yeah.
One hand usually ends up outside, one hand ends up inside, right? That's the downside. But you can do like maybe you do your warm-ups one way, and then you do your heavy sets the other way and try to minimize that.
Yeah, I saw the video. Yeah, I can't like that.
There you go.
Yeah, girl. You're gonna get it.
You're gonna get it.
That big breath. Stay with it, stay with it.
Yeah, I want to go off.
It's going to be slow off the floor. So if you just break it, it's going to be No, you're in the right position. You're in the right position. But just stay there and keep holding. Sometimes it can be 3-4 seconds. Doesn't break the floor.
Macro-friendly meal. Of course, if you come to Layne's camp, there'll be macros on everything.
Hello, Alexis.
That's Marie.
Hi.
She just deadlifted and it's her off day, so fun.
A lot of the stuff you use on bench press will still carry over to other lifts. Okay? So when you're doing this, think about how you can relate to other lifts as well. So a huge part of bench press is getting tight. All right, getting tight and staying tight, because you've got, even though it's a shorter movement, you've got a lot more stuff that can go wrong. In squat and deadlift, our most efficient bar path is a straight line. It's typically not going to be a straight line for bench press, because where we end is going to be with the bar pretty much right here. But for us to touch and tuck our arms, which unless you want to kind of use that wide grip, open up, lowering the bar, which I don't recommend, very high stress on the shoulder and on the pec. Speaking to somebody who has had torn a pec before, I know this. And so we're going to do what's called tucking the elbows. So you're not going to be able to touch or move the bar in a straight path while still tucking your elbows and being in a good position. So there's going to be more of an arced path to the bench press.
understand fascinated as to why they wanted to do that. So even the people who had done really well wanted to do macros. So the meal plan is pretty simple. It's like, okay, here's the food, here's how much, and then for the macros, I didn't want to be like, okay, I'm giving you guys all this attention, because then they would have done better. So kindly, Lee actually offered her reverse diet, not her how to count macros ebook. So she supplied that to all the people who were in the macro group. So that was like their education as far as what to do. Because again, you can't give one group more help than the other because then that's super biased. Because if the goals are not being honest with your adherence will not get you any closer to those goals. So that's why, you know, it ties into accountability, because if you have someone else keeping you accountable, typically they'll keep you realistic and honest, or you'll feel the need to be more honest with them. So, you know, this was shown in my study that accountability matters because people were just being monitored. And I've also observed this with my clients, just a weekly check-in can help them. So they took the principles that they learned essentially from the meal plan and then applied them, you know, to their outside everyday life. And it was just kind of like a natural progression. People need less autonomy at first to kind of get the hang of it. But then for those people taught properly, they can exhibit great autonomy later, which can ultimately influence their eating behaviors. I never want someone to feel so restricted that, again, the example of lunch, could not eat something like that, where anyone, honestly, no matter what their macro goals or their physique goals, which is anything, could eat. But some people, understandably, could be very anxious over that.
Can't ever prove anything in science. Gravity, it worked again. Okay? You can't, gravity isn't proven. It's not. You got a theorem of model that just proves it. Now that being said, there is such an overwhelming amount of data to confirm that the hypothesis of gravity and the theory of gravity is true, that we accept it as true. Okay, does that make sense? My friend Jeremy Layne always says there'd be data he'd be willing to bet his toe on, his foot on, his leg on, and his life on. Okay? So gravity, I put my life on gravity, right? But there are certain things we have different confidence levels in. You know, maybe there's only one study. Maybe I don't agree with how the study was done. Maybe someone else doesn't agree with how I did a study, right? So we have different confidence levels. Okay? So that's why it's always important, especially for scientists in the room. I think we have a couple in here who are doing science-based degrees. Read the study, like, right, don't just look at the abstract and don't just look at the conclusion, like look at the methods and say, okay, this thing actually answer or ask the right question. Like the hardest part of conducting a study is just asking the right question. Sounds stupid, but like, how are you going to design a study to answer the question that you want to answer? So when I talk about all this stuff, keep in mind, all this is my opinion of the data I've seen, and I could very well be wrong about that opinion. Now, I'd like to think I get it more right than I get it wrong, okay? But every once in a while, I'm probably going to be wrong about some stuff, okay? So, if you disagree with me on some certain stuff, that's fine. We can talk about it, and we can have a debate about it, and maybe I'll change my mind. Maybe not. But that's important to keep in mind that, you know, there is no person on this earth who is infallible, all right? And one of the things that drives me nuts on Twitter is every once in a while I'll get someone say, I don't even worry about what you say because I know what you say, I take it straight to the bank. And you haven't been listening to me, right? Because I would never tell somebody, hey, this is 100% dead on, like zero, like no. Everybody makes mistakes, myself included. But hypertrophy typically needs a traditional hypertrophy range of repetitions. So like 8 to 15 reps, something like that, okay? And then a strength day, under 5 reps, all right? And then a power day. So power is like a lower weight for a lower amount of reps, but for speed, trying to produce maximal force. What is going to be producing most muscle damage? Probably the hypertrophy day, right? Like when you do higher reps like that, you tend to be a lot more sore, right? So you can be sore for that strength day. So Dr. Zordos set it up as this. Hypertrophy power, because even if you're sore and don't feel great, you can still probably move 50 to 60%. So I did a video talking about time and retention. So there's all these people that are big about after time and retention. You have to be super slow, you know, super slow, right? Because it produces more hypertrophy. So if you equate for volume, yes, time and attention produces more hypertrophy. What does that mean? Well, there was a study where they took, I think it was 30%, 20 to 30% of the 1 rep max, and they had to do that super slow for 6 seconds up, 6 seconds down for 10 reps. Yeah, exactly. Boring. And when they compared that to just a normal pace, the group doing it super slow got more hypertrophy and strength. Okay, but if you're using 30%, can you just do 10 reps if you're going normal pace? Hell no, you do a hell of a lot more, right? Yeah. Guess what? If you just go to failure, your time under tension total ends up being about the same. And actually, that study was then not repeated, but there was a study that looked at that just said, hey, take it to failure, either one. And the group going to failure with the regular pace actually got better results. So why? Because now the volume's different, right? So when you equate their volume, some of this other shit can matter. But you never want to say, okay, for example, like failure is most important. So you take your first set to failure. What happens if you've ever done a set with all-out failure and try to do a set after the same rate, you get like half the reps, right? Volume is important, and this stuff is secondary, right? Make sense? Reps times sets times weight.
Hey guys, so I just wanted to do a quick recap of this past weekend. I said quick, it probably won't be quick because it was an awesome weekend. Saturday and Sunday, I went to the Arnold Expo and I got to meet a ton of people that I really looked up to. I met Amanda Latona for the second time. I also met her last year, but she's just an incredible woman in faith. Every time you talk to her, like I said this in the video, my past video, she's very personable and she really tries to connect with everyone on the level that she can. I met a lot of people I look up to in YouTube. So that would be Emily Duncan, who she actually got second at the Arnold Amateur, second overall. So she won her class F, she's really tall. And then she got second and she looked awesome. And then I also got to meet Brittany Lesser. She was such a sweetheart, and Travis S, and just a lot of other people that I really looked up to. So if you are looking into going to the Arnold next year, I highly recommend it. It's so fun. You get tons of free samples. I'll put a picture up of a bunch of the stuff I got. Not all of it was free. I bought the Mighty Muffins from Flapjacked and some brownie butter, peanut butter, but most of the stuff I did not buy. And then Monday was the best of it all, and I went to Layne Norton's Arnold camp. If you don't know who Layne Norton is, he got his undergraduate degree in biochemistry, then he went straight and got his PhD at the University of Illinois studying L-leucine, the amino acid, and he is one of the smartest people in the industry. He's brought a lot of science to fitness and bodybuilding and powerlifting, and he's someone that I truly look up to. He pioneered the whole flexible dieting, so that's how I diet. So I have a certain carbs, fats, and proteins that I hit every day, and he kind of pioneered that theory, which honestly made a huge difference because it takes away a lot of the hard things about really rigid dieting and makes you have a better relationship with food, and so I thank him a lot for that. And I also got to meet Lauren Conlon, which is almost like his protege, I'd kind of say. She also has an undergraduate degree in exercise phys, graduate degree in exercise phys, I'm pretty sure, and she is trying to get her PhD right now, and she actually told us a little bit about the study that she's doing. She couldn't tell us about her conclusions because it's not published yet or anything, but she could tell us of her interpretation of the study, which I have footage of in the video, which you would have already seen by this time. I also got to meet two other people I look up to in social media. Marie Wold, Wold, it's W-O-L-D. I don't know how to say it, but I'll just say that. And Amanda Bucci, and I actually got to squat with them, which was pretty cool. So that was awesome. The whole layout of the camp was we learned how to squat, deadlift, ate lunch, macro friendly. All the macros were listed for us, and then we deadlifted, and then Layne and Lauren both shared presentations with us, and we had a Q&A, but there was only 20 people at that camp, so we really got great one-on-one time with Layne and Lauren, and they were just so helpful, not only with the lifts, because they were obviously very helpful with that, and bodybuilding, bikini, things like that, they were also very helpful, but they really helped me with maybe what I'm going to be doing in the future. I have a passion for learning. I absolutely love science, and now I want to get more involved in research. It's something that's always been in the back of my mind, but I was never really sure what I wanted to do, and I was talking to them, and one thing that Layne said to me, he's like, I knew I loved to learn, and so why not try to learn the most I can and get the best education that I can. And that really hit home with me because I love education. It's so important. Anytime you have a coach in any type of industry, you really need to have someone who's very educated, or else you're just screwing yourself over, because so many things can go wrong, and you want someone who is able to know how to fix it and also will admit if they're wrong. Layne's just a very overall genuine person, and now I look up to him even more. And this whole weekend was just so surreal. Like, I can't even believe I was able to go to that Arnold camp. I'm just like so happy, and it was so worth it that I went. This entire weekend was more than I could have ever asked for, and I'm just really happy, and I learned a lot, and I hope that you guys can learn a lot from these videos. I didn't include all the footage that I have just out of respect for the people who went to the camp and paid for it, but I included a decent bit of footage, I think. So I hope you enjoy, and I hope you can learn. And if you guys like this video, please hit the thumbs up button below and subscribe to my channel if you want to see more. And I'm going to try to put out a decent bit of videos from here on out. So let me know if you have any requests or anything. So yeah, alright, have a great week, guys, and have a great week if you're on spring break. Alright, bye.